Hey guys, welcome back to the Kubernetes series. If you are following this series, I'm sure that you are fully loaded with the theory of Kubernetes. Now it's time for some hands-on. For the same, we need to create a Kubernetes cluster on our mission. So without any further delay, let's get started. There are different ways to create a Kubernetes cluster: Minikube, Kind, K3s, Kubedium, etc. Minikube and K3s are used to set up a local cluster or on VMs to play around and learn Kubernetes. In the initial version of Minikube, it was possible to create only a single node cluster. Both worker and master node components will be in the same node. But with the latest version of Minikube, we can create a multi-node cluster using Docker. Kind is also the same. Kind stands for Kubernetes in Docker. With Kind, we can spin up a cluster with simple YAML files. Whereas K3s is a light Kubernetes version developed by Rancher Labs. The K3s binary is very less, around 50 MB, because it removed all legacy features and it uses SQLite instead of etcd. This is ideal for limited resource missions. And Kubedium is a tool to create a Kubernetes cluster by joining multiple nodes like your EC2 instances or bare metal server. Also, there are managed clusters provided by different cloud providers like Elastic Kubernetes Service by Amazon, Google Kubernetes Engine by Google, and Azure Kubernetes Service by Microsoft. For a quick and easy setup, let's go ahead with Minikube. However, you can try any other approaches with the links I have given in the description. No matter how you create the cluster, all the Kubernetes concepts we will be discussing in the next sections will work the same way. To create a cluster with Minikube, we need the following prerequisites: 2 CPUs or more, 2 GB of free memory, and 20 GB of free disk space. Also, we need Docker or any virtual machine manager like VirtualBox or Hyperkit. Finally, we need kubectl. As we discussed in the Kubernetes architecture section, this is the CLI with which we can talk to the Kubernetes cluster. People call kubectl as kubectl, kubecontrol, or kubectl. I'll be using kubectl in all the places to be consistent throughout the series. I hope Docker is up and running in your machine. If it's not installed, please go ahead and install Docker to proceed further. You can check out my Docker installation video for clear instructions. Let us install kubectl first. To install kubectl, first open up your favorite browser and go to kubernetes.io. Then go to documentation and tasks and click on this install tools. Here we can find kubectl install tools on different operating systems. As I am on Mac, let me open this install kubectl on Mac OS. You can follow the appropriate link based on your OS. All the steps listed are easy to follow. If you face any issues, please let me know in the comments section. I'll definitely answer over there. Again, there are different ways to install kubectl in different OS. Like in Mac, we can install with binary, homebrew, and Mac ports. Let me go with the binary. First, we need to download the binary with the command provided here. So let's copy this command and paste it in the terminal and hit enter. As you can see, it's downloading the binary. Awesome, the binary is downloaded. Next, let's go to the second step, which is validating the binary, and this is optional. So I'm skipping for now. Next, we need to make the kubectl binary executable with chmod +x. So just copy this command and go to the terminal and paste it here. Let's head back to the browser and follow the fourth step, which is moving the kubectl binary to a file location on the system path. So just copy this command and paste it here, enter, and give the system password if it's asked. And also, let's copy this command and paste it here. Kubectl is now installed. We can test it to ensure the version you installed is up to date with kubectl version client. As you can see, the kubectl is installed. Great. Now we installed the CLI to talk to the cluster. Let us actually create the cluster now. To create the cluster, first we should install the Minikube. To check if the Minikube is already installed, just type Minikube version. As you can see, the Minikube is not installed. If it gives the version, that means Minikube is already installed. As it's not installed in my machine, let's go ahead and install it. To install Minikube, let's go to the same install tools page on the browser. As you can see, we can find different install tools here like Kind, Minikube, and Kubedium. Let's go ahead with Minikube. As we discussed, these are the prerequisites to install Minikube. So let's go ahead and select our operating system, architecture, release type and installer type. I'm on Mac with 64-bit version and I'm going to download stable version with the binary download. We can use Homebrew also. Based on the selections, you will get appropriate commands. Just run those as it is. Please make sure to select according to your machine. So I'm going to copy this command and run it in my terminal. It's downloading the Minikube binary. Cool, it's downloaded. Now let's install the Minikube with the downloaded binary by running this command in the terminal. Let's give the password. Cool, that's it. The Minikube is installed. We can verify that with Minikube version. As you can see, 1.23.0 version is installed. Please note that we just installed Minikube. We didn't create the cluster yet. Now let us create the actual cluster. To create the cluster, all you need to do is Minikube start. And let us specify the nodes as 2. So now it's going to create 2 nodes cluster. One is the master node and the other one is the worker node. Also let's give a profile with -p flag. Basically this is the cluster name. So local cluster. And let's specify the driver. We can use different drivers with the Minikube. We can see the list of available drivers on the official documentation on the drivers page here. On the Mac it supports Docker, Hyperkit, VirtualBox, etc. And the preferred way is Docker. So let's go ahead and give the Docker as my driver. Let's hit enter. As you can see, it's creating the cluster. Docker is pretty fast compared to VMs. You can check out my Docker versus VMs video to understand why Docker is fast compared to VM. It might take a little longer to create the cluster. Cool, the cluster is created. We can observe multiple things here. As you see, it's starting the control plane node first. If you don't know what is control plane node, please refer to the Kubernetes architecture section in this series. Also, it is starting the worker node. And also, kubectl is now configured to use the cluster that we just created. Also, you can see the Docker container creation. This is because when we create a cluster with Docker, each node will be created as a container. You can see the another container here for the worker node. Now let's clear the screen and check the status of our cluster. Minikube status -p local cluster. Here we are checking the status of Minikube cluster with the name local cluster. As you can see, the control plane is running. Also the worker node is running. Amazing. Now we installed Minikube and also we created a multi-node cluster with Minikube. Congratulations. It's that simple. Now we are all set to start working on Kubernetes. Please note that we are mimicking the multi-node cluster in our local with containers. In production, it's not recommended to use Minikube or Kind. We will be using individual machines and create a cluster with those machines using some tools like KubeADM or Rancher Kubernetes engine. Or we will use managed clusters like AWS, EKS, etc. This setup is just for practice on your local laptops. Now let us talk to the Kubernetes cluster with kubectl. The general syntax of kubectl is kubectl space command space type space name space flags. If we break down this structure, kubectl is the CLI we just installed and the command is the operation like create, get, describe, delete, etc. And the type is the resource type like pods, services, etc. And this resource type is case insensitive. And the name is the resource name like pod name, service name, etc. And this is case sensitive. And finally, flags are the special instructions to give extra information like giving the file name with -f flag and asking for the output in a specific format with -o flag, etc. The example command would be kubectl get pods, pod name, and we can get the pod information in the YAML format. Now let us try some simple commands. Let's go back to the terminal and try kubectl get nodes. Here we asked, get me the list of nodes in the cluster I am using now. If you remember, we created 2 nodes. Each node is a container. We can confirm that with docker ps. As you can see, there are 2 containers created for each node. Also, we can list down all the clusters we have with kubectl config get context. As you can see, there is only 1 cluster created. And the star indicates that this is the cluster that is in use. As we discussed, you can create any number of clusters and you can switch between the clusters with kubectl config set context and cluster name local cluster. As we have only one cluster, I'm just giving the same cluster name. As you can see, the context is modified. This will be helpful if you have multiple clusters and you want to switch between those clusters. Also, you can add or delete the nodes to the cluster with Minikube node add, and we should mention whether it's a worker node or master node. Let's create a worker node, and we should mention in which cluster we are going to add this node. This is in the local cluster. Enter. As you can see, it's creating a Docker container. Awesome, a node is successfully added to the local cluster. We can verify that with kubectl get nodes. As you can see, a new node is added and the status is showing not ready. It might take some time to make the node ready. Let's hit the same command to check if the node is ready. Cool, now the status is showing as ready. Now we have 3 nodes in the cluster. We can delete a node with Minikube node delete, and the node name we want to delete. Let's delete the node we just added, and it is in the local cluster. Let's hit enter. As you can see, the node is successfully deleted. Let's verify that with kubectl get nodes. Perfect, we have only 2 nodes now. We can also access the Minikube dashboard with Minikube dashboard -URL of local cluster. So this is the URL of the Minikube dashboard. Let's copy it and open in the browser. So this is the user interface with which we can access the cluster resources like the nodes. As you can see, we have the 2 nodes here. Also, we can get the list of pods, list of services, etc. Internally, this UI or kubectl will fire the Kubernetes APIs as we discussed in the Kubernetes architecture section. I hope you followed along with me and have the Kubernetes cluster up and running on your machine. I'm super excited to do some hands-on with you in my next section. Stay tuned. My name is Pavanil Tepu and I thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please share it with your friends and do not forget to subscribe to my channel to not miss any updates.